Hello, this is a supplement to sessions 6 and 7 because often it's one thing to be told about how navigating websites work, and it's another thing to experience it and see it done. I would highly recommend that you try these things on your own and kind of experiment with your screen readers. First, I'm going to demonstrate JAWS for Windows on the WCBVI website, and then I will do the same with NVDA so that you can notice the difference between them. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go to the top of this page, Control Home. That helps me out a lot. It lets me know that I'm at the top of the page in case I wondered where my location was. When in doubt, go to the top of the page. So now I can navigate this site by all sorts of things. I can press H for heading.
News heading level 2. Videos heading level 2.
As you can hear, it tells me the name of the heading as well as reports the level the heading is at.
Calendar heading level 2. Subscribe to the WCBVI email list heading level 2.
Okay.
Employment heading level 2.
Now, you hear employment, hopefully here somewhere, but we don't see it. And sometimes the screen reader focus moves without the visual focus or without the system focus exactly following it. So this can be somewhat confusing to people who can see, who are trying to follow the focus. So this is just kind of a warning that can happen. I'm going to press H again.
YR School heading level 2. See something, say something heading level 2. Wrapping the top, news heading level 2.
And it wrapped me to the top. And as you can hear, we are focused on news again. So if I want to know what's under that, I can use, now that I have an idea of what the headings are, I can use my arrow key to read down.
List of 2 items. Visited link Act 20 information. Published on March 12th, 2024.
So this is news. It was published in March.
Deputy State Superintendent Dr. John Johnson shared the following message regarding Act 20 with district administrators in January 2024. Visited link, read more.
Okay, so as you heard, so I was in a list. The first item on the list talked about what's in Wisconsin called Act 20. And if you're in Wisconsin, you might know about it, but otherwise it doesn't really matter so much. But you navigate down using your arrow keys, and you heard it say read more. And that says that it's a link. It also says it's a visited link. We talked about visited links in session 7. Suppose I wanted to find an edit box, I would press E.
Wrapping the top, search edit, blank, placeholder, search WCBVI.
So I could search WCBVI. I would have to press space to enter forms mode to enter text.
Space, banner region, search
and
region, search edit.
I'm going to type assistive technology. And if I wanted to actually search, I would press enter. But I'm going to hit escape and go to the top of the page again. Here is where we kind of, this is just kind of how you jump around a page. This gives you kind of an idea of the outline of how a page is represented. Another way you could do that would be to use the tab key and navigate by element on the page.
Banner region, skip to content, same page
now,
link.
Skip to content is a common sort of a navigational landmark area to let you know that if you click enter here, you can skip to where the main area of the page is. So I'm going to press enter.
Enter. Wisconsin Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired document. List of 2 items. Visited link Act 20 information.
So that jumped me right down to Act 20. That got me past all of this information at the top here, all of the, like the menus and things like that. It took me to the meat of the page. So skip to content is always a good option. One more thing I'm going to show you is how to get into those dialog boxes, the links dialog box, headings, and form fields. So I'm going to go ahead and go insert F5 to take me.
Select a form field dialog.
So,
list 1, list 2.
So here are the form fields. Now, there are some things that are marked as form fields that I guess I wouldn't call a form field.
Search button, open submenu button, playlist button, more button, play button, today button, 7 of 9.
So this probably is our calendar.
Previous period next period button, 9 of 9.
So just these are the forms fields so that you could explore all of those rather than tabbing through them or pressing F.
Escape list.
I'm going to press escape to get out of there again, and I'm going to press insert F6 and we'll look at the headings on this page.
Heading list dialog. Headings list view. News : 2, 1 of 7. To move to items, use the arrow keys.
Okay, so you'll use the arrow keys in this list box here.
Subscribe to the
and pressing enter on any one of these will move you to the heading, even if it's a link. The one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press tab here.
Move to heading button, cancel button, sort headings in tab order, radio button checked.
This way I could sort headings in tab order.
Sort headings alphabetically, radio button checked.
Or alphabetically.
To change the selection, press up or down arrow, Alt plus P.
I'm not really sure why it indicates that this is in alphabetical order here, but for some reason they're not really listed in alphabetical order. And I'm not sure if it's a hierarchy thing or a coded thing, but it doesn't list them that way. So I'm just going to go back.
Sort headings in tab order,
here.
Checked. 1 of 2. To
so
change the selection,
now
press up.
I'm going to press tab again.
Display all headings, radio button.
This is where I could choose which heading to display.
Display level 1 headings, radio button checked. 2 of 7.
Okay.
To change the selection, press up or.
So I would want to display. So we didn't hear any level 1 headings, but I'm going to navigate back.
Sort headings and tab cancel button. Headings list view 0 items to move.
So that confirms to me that there are no headings at level 1. So I can tab down again.
Cancel button. So display level 1 headings, radio button checked. 2 of 7.
All right. So now I'm back there and I can
down arrow, Alt plus 1.
do
display level
down
2
arrow.
headings, radio button checked. 3 of 7. To change the selection, press up or down arrow, Alt plus 2.
Now, if you listened to the entire thing, it said at the end, Alt plus 2. So if I wanted to display all headings at level 2, I could press Alt plus 2 while focused in this dialog box, and it will display all the headings at level 2. If I press, let's see what happened, just for funsies, what would happen if I press Alt plus 3?
Alt 3. Display level 3 headings,
and
radio
here we go. It's
checked.
displaying.
To change the selection, press up or down arrow.
It's displaying the heading level 3 headings, and there aren't any. So within anywhere in this dialog, you could perform those key commands, and that's why it's important to listen to JAWS until it stops talking. That can be very helpful. I've escaped out of that dialog, and I'm sure it didn't tell you necessarily, but now I'm going to open the links list dialog box, and that was in insert plus F7.
Links list dialog. Links list view. Skip
and these
content. 1 of 34. To move to items, use the arrow keys.
Now these ones are a little bit more interesting because this dialog box, number 1, seems to be accessed more than the others, just because most of the time people are looking for a link to take them somewhere else. So as before, you can navigate through the dialog box using your tab keys to locate the other parts of it. But here's your links list, and it's showing them in tab order, which means in the order that they appear.
Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction. 2. Join our email list. 3 of 34. Like our Facebook page. 4 of 34.
I could do first letter navigation if I knew the name of the link. So suppose I'm going to press the letter R to go to resources, because I know that's a link here. And that would not only take me to the link, but it would activate the link. And that's my default in JAWS. So I'm going to hit R.
RSS feed.
And then enter.
34.
Oops.
Resources. 12 of 34.
There we go. That's the right one. Now, what did I just say about listening to JAWS? Now press enter.
Enter.
Okay, now we're on the resources page, and let's just go to skip to content.
Caps lock on. Skip to Content Center. Resources N-Wisconsin Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired document. Resources
we've gotten to the
Wisconsin
content.
Center for the Blind and Visually
Control again. So we're going to press H.
Wrapping the top. Resources heading level 1.
It sounds like that's the only heading level on here.
Wrapping the top. Resources.
Okay. Now what if I were to open up that links list again here? So let's do insert F7.
Links list dialog. Links list view. Advisory council 13 of 32.
Okay. So it's focused on a link called Advisory Council, and there are a lot of different resources here. They're in tab order. All of them are here. All of these things like that. So I'm going to just press escape to come out of here. Just kind of wanted to show you that. So what if I press V for the next visited link?
Visited same page link skip to content. Visited link graphic Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction. Visited link graphic subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Okay. And what about a non-visited link?
Link graphic advisory council.
So here's my unvisited links with you.
Link graphic become a teacher. Link graphic discipline project
so
service request.
All sorts of different ones here. I wanted to just show you how that would work. Next, I'm going to show you this same site with NVDA. Okay, now we're on the same page, the homepage, the Wisconsin Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired, and I'm running NVDA. So I'm going to go to the top of the page using Control Home, just like I did with JAWS.
Clickable banner landmark visited link skip to content.
So again, you have the skip to content that you can activate here, or you can continue to kind of tab through or press headings. So I'm just going to press headings.
Main landmark news heading level 2. Video S heading level 2.
And as you can hear, just like with JAWS, it tells you you're focused on a heading.
Calendar heading level 2.
And what level it's at.
Subscribe to the USB email list heading level 2. Employment heading level 2.
So now if I go to the top of the page again.
Banner landmark visited link skip to content.
Okay. And here again is my skip to content, which will take me to the content area. Or
visited link app 20 information.
It concerned me for just a half a second because it didn't talk, but sometimes that happens.
Published on March 12th, 2024.
So it took me now I'm under the news heading and I'm reading this information.
Deputy State Superintendent.
Just like I did with JAWS.
District visited link save the date. USB resource published on to bring awareness to students and their families of resources for blind/visually impaired high.
The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump. I'm going to just tab. I'm going to go to the tab again.
Out of list banner landmark visited link skip to content.
Okay, and there's my visited link for skip to content, and it tells me that it was visited, so I'm going to just press tab.
Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction graphic visited link. Join our email list. Like our Facebook page graphic link.
And as you might be able to see if you're visually following this, as the screen reader's focus moves to each one of these icons up here, it announces what it is. I didn't mention that with JAWS, but that is exactly the case. So what it's doing is it's reading the alternative text that's added. So there are not actually words here. These are images, and it says so with the word graphic. So if I continue to tab,
RSS feeds graphic link. Subscribe to our YouTube channel graphic visited link. Search landmark.
Now here this put me in the search field, which is something that we didn't see using JAWS, but I could type in a search term and go to a different page or based on those search results, but I'm not going to do that right now.
Search button.
And that took me out of the edit field. It gave me that clue, that icon to let me know.
Navigation landmark Wisconsin Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired visited link left arrow Wisconsin Center for the Blind.
Listening to that gave you a lot of information. It said it was a landmark. It said it was a visited link. It gave you multiple pieces of information for that particular element. So it's important to listen to your screen reader as you go through, as we have talked about.
Primary menu navigation landmark list with 5 items school link.
Again, this told you a lot of things. It said you were in a landmark. It said you were in a list. It said I was focused on a link. So all of those things are true. It's just super important. I can't even tell you how important it is to listen to your screen reader as you go through these things. So learning to listen is an important skill. And I'm going to bring up that elements list. Insert F7.
Elements list dialog. Tree view. Level 0 skip to content. Visited 1 of 34.
So right now, by default, it brings you up with a links list because that's what most people are looking for. So what I can do is I can navigate that by, by first letter navigation is what it's called. So I'm going to just let's see if there's anything, there's a W here.
Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, Wisconsin Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired, Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction.
So it cycles me around.
34 level 0.
I can also, so I'm going to press tab to navigate to a different part of this dialog.
Filter by, edit Alt plus Y blank.
So filter by. So let me type school here. And now I need to do a shift tab to go backwards.
Tree view, school 1 of 2 level 0.
So this is a link with the name school in it. However, if we go down one,
view school calendar 2023 to 2024 2 of 2 level 0.
It doesn't start with the word school. So I wouldn't have found it unless I had typed that filter. So that's important to kind of see that in actions. So if you don't know what exactly the link is called, so you can't use first letter navigation, but you know that the word school is in there, it's going to pull up results.
Filter by.
Now I'm just going to escape that.
Blank.
And then now it's deleted the selection and now all of the links are visible. So I'm going to press tab again.
Activate button.
So again, for example, by default with NVDA, if I were to hit enter on any of those links, it would activate them. But if I wanted to just move to them,
move to button Alt plus M,
then I could do that. And I could also Alt M, as you can hear from the screen reader commands, if I didn't feel like navigating through that list and then tabbing all the way down here to the move to, I could do that. Now I'm going to press tab again.
Type, grouping, links radio button checked Alt plus K.
Now this is where we're in that grouping. We have the type of things we can look for. And you've heard it say that we're in a grouping and there's a list, and the thing we're focused on is links. If I wanted to jump to all the links automatically instead of navigating to this area of the dialog, I could just press that key command.
Headings radio button checked Alt plus H.
So Alt H for headings.
Form fields radio button checked Alt plus F.
Form fields.
Buttons radio button checked Alt plus D.
Buttons.
Landmarks radio button checked Alt plus D.
And navigate landmarks. I'm sorry, and it often talks about navigation here. So, and if I
links
cycle back around, I'm back to links. So let's go to have buttons because we navigated by buttons before.
Headings radio, form fields buttons radio button checked Alt plus B.
So, and then I'm going to tab.
Tree view. Search 1 of 8 level 0.
Okay, so these are the buttons that I've got. So there's the search button.
Open submenu. Playlist. Submenu 3 of 8 level 0. More. Submenu 4 of 8 level. Play 5 of 8 level 0. Today 6 of 8 level 0.
And these are all the buttons we've heard already. So it's not a big, big to do to go through them all. We don't need to do that. In this particular instance on this page, buttons don't really do a lot for you. There aren't, like I said, we can't give them specific names because we don't have that control. But there are some sites that have buttons that you are specifically looking for that are named. So it's important to know that you can do that. The next thing I'm going to do is go back to links.
Links radio button checked Alt plus K.
Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do tab.
Tree view. Skip to content.
And let's find a different page that I have not visited. Let's go to contact.
Contact 11 of 34 level 0.
Okay, it tells me there are 34 links and this is link number 11. I'm just going to go ahead and activate it.
Wisconsin Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
So now I'm focused on the content page. I'm going to press H for heading.
Main landmark contact USB heading level 1.
And again, I could change how that was pronounced. It says WCBBI, and I hear it enough so that I know, but you might not. So that's one of the headings.
Mailing address heading level 2.
Mailing address.
Phone numbers heading level. Fax numbers heading level 2. Center Director's Office heading level 2.
Okay.
Principal's Office heading level 2. Outreach heading level 2.
So these are all the headings.
Residential Life heading level 2.
And all of the different areas. So again, I can do a Shift H.
Outreach heading
backwards.
level 2. Principal's Office, Center Director's Office heading level 2.
And if I wanted to know that number,
Dan Wenzel, Center Director. Phone, 608-758-4925.
so these are all of those numbers and information. So that's pretty much what we've got for you today. That is how to navigate our website. I will show you a different website in a different video. Thanks, and have a great day.